Okay, let's jump right in. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty interesting, math meeting the real world. Specifically, how some, well, fairly advanced concepts get used for something like food pricing.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
We've got some materials here that focus on using differentiation, remember that from calculus,
Hmm.
to figure out how sensitive food prices are when supply changes.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission, really, is to unpack these sources and, pull out the key insights for you.
And what really stands out, I think, is seeing a tool like differentiation, which, let's be honest, many people think is just abstract math problems,
Right.
being applied directly to something so fundamental, food security, market behavior. The sources seem aimed at maybe students, showing this exact application.
Exactly. Pops up in course materials, things like mathematical applications and food pricing.
Mhm.
And the core idea is using calculus, differentiation, to analyze this sensitivity of food prices to supply changes.
Mm,
It's not just theory. It's about grasping what actually moves the price of, well, your food.
precisely. Differentiation, mathematically, it's how you measure instantaneous change, how one thing shifts when another thing changes, just a tiny bit.
Okay.
So here, it's putting a number on how fast food prices change relative to a little shift in supply, like getting a speedometer reading for price changes based on availability right at that moment.
So instead of just the usual less supply, higher prices,
Yeah,
this gives you a specific value. Like if supply drops 1%, prices might jump, say, 5%. Is that the idea?
that's exactly the idea. It allows for that kind of specific quantification. And knowing this price sensitivity, it's incredibly important.
How so?
Well, the sources show this math isn't just academic. It's used to look at market stability, predict possible price spikes when supply chains get hit, things we've definitely seen lately.
Well, yeah, that's right.
And it helps inform policy, decisions about food reserves or trade rules.
And that's where it gets really relevant for you listening. It takes these really complex, fast-moving food markets and gives analysts a tool, something to model and maybe predict reactions with way more precision than just going by gut feeling or simple averages.
And it's interesting how the sources frame this for learning. It kind of emphasizes that these quantitative skills, they're becoming essential.
For anyone in economics, agriculture,
Global supply chains, yeah. They're not just teaching calculus, they're showing its power in making sense of these really vital, complex systems we all depend on.
makes sense. Especially when you think how interconnected everything is. A drought over here, a shipping problem over there.
And prices can shift everywhere. Differentiation helps map those connections, those cause and effect links a bit more clearly,
So it gives a clearer picture.
a clearer, more quantified picture. And, while price sensitivity is the main focus in these specific sources, it's part of a bigger picture.
Right.
Math tools like this are just one part of a whole suite of quantitative methods used to model all sorts of things, from like crop yields to getting food delivered efficiently. It's about bringing that mathematical rigor to understand complexity.
Okay, so summing up from our sources, they really highlight using differentiation to measure that price sensitivity to supply changes.
Yeah.
And it's presented as a practical tool, especially shown to students heading into fields like economics or agriculture.
It's a prime example of abstract math, giving very concrete, very vital insights into everyday systems.
So wrapping this up, here's something to consider. If a complex mathematical idea like differentiation is being used to understand something as basic as food price sensitivity,
Mhm.
something we all deal with, what might that tell you about the hidden layers? The complexity and the quantitative tools being used maybe everywhere, analyzing systems around us that seem simple on the surface.
Definitely something to mull over.
Yeah, something to think about until our next deep dive.